Hey guys, so this is going to probably be several videos for this PowerPoint, which is the first of the ones we're going to have this week. It is really a long PowerPoint, but I wanted to make sure you guys got a lot of information on resumes and CVs and cover letters because the book really only dedicates a couple paragraphs to them, and it's focused a lot more on interviews, but you're not going to get an interview if you don't have this first step done well. You're also going to be writing your own resumes and cover letters this next week, and so I wanted to make sure that you had adequate information about that as well. So a little bit of background about some more of the hats that I wear. You've probably mentioned that I wear a lot of hats, and I kind of have several sources of income that I juggle. One of them is that I'm a quality specialist / team manager for tutor.com, and two of the subjects that I train tutors in and assess tutor quality in, I don't know what just happened here and why things popped up, but we'll roll with it, are student success and career help. And so I help tutors to learn how to better coach people to write resumes and cover letters, and I teach them on CVs, and I teach the tutors how to do that. I also have tutored in that subject myself, so I've worked with many students and individuals to help them develop stronger resumes and stronger cover letters for positions that they might be applying for. And I do the same in another position that I've worked in, where I help students with college applications, grad students and undergrads, to help develop their career and develop stronger profiles to help get into better schools or land better positions later on. So this is actually something that I have some background in and that I actually know something about. And I don't think we actually talk about it enough in college either. I don't remember ever getting a class on this. I just kind of was like referred to, the career help office. And, so I wanted to make sure that you guys have some background and some information on this important topic that you will hopefully be using as soon as you graduate. So resumes, CVs, and cover letters are all about getting your foot in the door. They're all about getting your future employer to view you as an attractive enough candidate that they want to sit and talk to you. They want to take the time to actually interview you. So resumes and CVs tell employers a lot about whether or not you're qualified for the job, whether you read the job description. So if you don't use some keywords or some language that shows that you're familiar with the job, then they know you didn't read the description. They're probably going to toss your resume to the side. What kind of job experience you have or educational experience you have, what kind of person you are, whether or not you're detail-oriented. So if you have a lot of typos and stuff, that immediately tells your future employer that you're not very detail-oriented. Your level of knowledge, skills, interest, and education, all of that kind of stuff that shows who you are as a person and why you'd benefit them. Resume writing is, I think, more of an art than a science. There's a lot of things like organizing the resume and crafting the descriptions and visual elements and appeal that are kind of a balancing act that really need to be customized to the audience. Those can be challenging, and they need to be very individual, but they also still need to show that you're a serious professional, and striking that balance can be a challenge. But it is definitely something that's important to consider, because it will help show the employer that you can strike that balance, that you understand things like audience, and that you understand things like visual appeal and how to use white space, which is the part of the paper that doesn't have text on it. So again, it is pretty important. So resumes, CVs, and cover letters are similar, but they are different. They cover a lot of the same ground, but they're definitely not the same thing. Resumes and CVs get confused a lot. I even see people use the terms interchangeably. They're not interchangeable. A resume is a snapshot of relevant skills, education, and experience. It's a brief summary of your career progress and goals. It typically is 1 to 2 pages. It's customized for employers. You don't always want to include, especially if you have a very long work history, you don't necessarily want to include everything. And that's that. You also want to explain gaps at the same time. So that can be a difficult thing to balance, but you don't necessarily, you don't want it to be 10 pages. That's just going to get you tossed to the side. 1 page front and back is kind of the max on resumes. CV stands for curriculum vitae, or life's learning in Latin. It is a relatively static document that you do change over time. You might alter a few things, but mostly you just add to it. CVs can be just about as long as your experience and your interests are. You do, if you're applying for a job, you do want to customize them a little bit, maybe tweak some keywords, but you're not going to be custom writing your CV for any position. Unlike a resume where you probably should try to at least cater pretty heavily to your potential employer. And a cover letter is, well, it's a letter to an employer about why you want to work for them and why you would be a benefit to their company. It's a summary also of relevant skills and experience, but it is not just regurgitating your resume. It's adding context and explaining why those are important. And the focus is much more on your values, your character, and your interests than it is in the CV and the resume, which are a lot more of a list. A cover letter is also an opportunity to show your potential employer that you are a good writer, that you have good interpersonal skills, that you can craft a well-written document, which increasingly is becoming much more important and much more desired by future employers. So here's some top mistakes for resumes, CVs, and cover letters. Some of these won't surprise you at all. They're pretty obvious. Some of these will surprise you, I think, especially if you're an older student because I have several of those, who perhaps were taught something very different, because a lot of this is different than what I was initially taught when I was first writing a resume, and I imagine it was even more so for some other individuals. So one of the biggest mistakes is actually using the same resume for all jobs. When I first started applying for jobs, the standard was you write one resume, you get that resume nearly perfect, and then you just kind of pass it out almost like a pamphlet to any future employers that you might have. And it's the same document for each employer. That is no longer the case. You want to craft your resume as much as you can for each position that you're applying for. Another one, this one's a little more obvious, spelling and grammar mistakes. So not having a good grasp on syntax and the mechanics of the English language tells the reader that you're maybe not a competent writer. Another thing, and much more common, like a little grammar mistake, might show that you're not detail oriented. And so that can be a really, really negative thing. Missing and unprofessional contact information. So missing information makes it really hard for your employer to get in touch with you, right? Unprofessional contact information, like an email address that's not very professional, makes the employer wonder about your character. And so it can be a really big mistake. Failure to show results or to demonstrate how you impacted a previous company is another big one. So what a lot of people do when they're listing what they did at a job is they said, I do X. Well, I do X is great, but it doesn't say why that's important or what you're going to do for your future employer. So it should be I do X, which resulted in Y. And we'll talk more about how to write that kind of thing later. Distracting formats, like people who use like neon colored colors and really weird fonts. That makes the employer question whether or not you're a professional. It's also not very visually appealing to read. Resumes that are super long. You may have a lot of experience, but if your resume is really long, that shows the employer that you don't know how to selectively choose the most important things. And they're very unlikely to read all of it. And this is another one that I think will surprise some people, but using an objective statement, having that little paragraph at the top that says objective, that has now become passé. Instead, we want to use a career statement or a professional statement, which are similar but are a little bit more focused on the past and on the future than an objective statement was. Another one that I included in CVs and I didn't include on resumes because that list was getting kind of long, was lying or significantly padding your resume. So if you say something that's not true, I mean, they're going to check on your background check anyway, so they're going to know, and they're automatically going to question your character. So another thing that comes up a lot on CVs where you do have a lot more space is a lack of evidence or of demonstrating that you actually did something. And again, spelling and grammar mistakes are a big deal, and ignoring gaps in your work history is especially problematic on CVs because you have so much more space and time to work with. So it really does make employers go, well, why wasn't this included? Cover letters, some of the biggest mistakes are not addressing the right person or just going to whom it may concern. In general, the name of the person is on the job description that you should be addressing it to. If it's not, then you can say something like, to the head of HR at company X. But if you address it to the wrong person, then that makes, again, look like you're not detail-oriented or you're not really serious about this company or this job. And again, spelling and grammar mistakes for the same reasons as in resumes and CVs. Being too humble or too confident is another big one. So if you're too humble, it sounds like you're not proud of your own work and you're insecure, and that makes the employer question whether or not you'll be a good fit. And if you're too confident, then that makes the employer question whether or not what you're saying is true. And so both are problematic for different reasons. Again, cover letters that are too long, and this is really hard with a cover letter. Cover letters, you have to include a lot of contact information about yourself, and we'll talk more about it, but and the person that you're contacting, it takes up like half a page. And so you really only have about 200 words to work with, and it can be really hard to summarize everything you need to summarize about yourself, because these should not be any more than a page max. Using a stock cover letter for all employers, like just having a standard cover letter, again, is no longer considered acceptable. You should be crafting that one-page document for each potential job that you're going to be applying for. Regurgitating your resume is another big problem. So they have your resume. They don't want to just have you recap it. They want to understand why it's important and how you as a person are going to contribute to their company. And then another one that's a little bit weirder is talking only about soft skills. So these are like communication skills and interpersonal skills. Employers do want to hear a little bit more about your accomplishments and your experience, and for you to talk about specific experiences that are going to benefit them if you are hired. So those are the biggest mistakes for resumes, CVs, and cover letters. And we're going to pause this one here because I only have a 15-minute limit on the screen cap software. So I'm going to pause it and we'll resume at the bad resumes part, and I'll show you guys some examples of terrible resumes and cover letters. And then after that, we have that levity and that little bit of a break. We'll go in and we'll talk about the nitty-gritty of this stuff. So I will see you guys in a minute.